Good afternoon, students. So let us start this class, and uh, we will be uh, doing Oscar Wilde's play, continuing with Oscar Wilde's play. So let me share the screen, and you will. Yes, this is the play, Oscar Wilde's Importance of Being Earnest. Now, in my last class, I was uh, I was discussing this particular section of the play, where, as if you had attended that class, you would remember that Lady Bracknell was a kind of interviewing Jack Worthing, and here she was, in fact, trying to know some important facts about him. So she asks him about his income. What is your income? And Jack says between 7 and 8,000 a year. So obviously we can understand that it is quite a large sum during those times for the standards of those late Victorian period. Lady Bracknell makes a note in her book, in land or in investments. So she asks whether he has in his possession certain quantity of land, or he has invested on some shares or anything like that. In investments chiefly, that is satisfactory. So she's satisfied with his answer. What between the duties expected of one during one's lifetime and the duties exacted from one after one's death, land has ceased to be either a profit or a pleasure. So she is of the opinion that land is no longer a source of either pleasure or profit during one's lifetime, and the landowner has to pay taxes. It gives one position and prevents one from keeping it up. So obviously, Lady Bracknell, she is not in favor of holding on to land. That's all that can be said about land. So here she says to Jack that one has to pay taxes during one's lifetime if one has some quantity of land, and when one dies, some more taxes have to be paid in order to, you know, pay off debts and all that, those things. So the expenditure would go on. Now, holding land, of course, it provides a kind of a status to an individual, but the income from it that is paid in taxes, in order to maintain that status, that is quite huge. Now, Jack says, I have a country house with some land, of course, attached to it, about 1,500 acres, I believe, but I don't depend on that for my real income. In fact, as far as I can make out, the poachers are the only people who make anything out of it. So here Jack says that he has about kind of in the countryside, a country house which is about 1,500 acres of land. It's there on that land, but that is not the income that he generates or he gets. That is not the primary source. So the poachers, obviously, people who steal, they benefit. A country house, how many bedrooms? Well, that point can be cleared up afterwards. You have a townhouse, I hope. a girl with a simple, unspoiled nature like Gwendolen could hardly be expected to reside in the country. So now she is a bit interested. Oh, a country house. So how large is that? So how many bedrooms are there? But then she decides that that can be settled later. So she asks Jack whether he has a townhouse also. So because Gwendolyn, if she is going to marry Jack, she's not going to spend her life there in the country. So obviously she would want to live in the city. Uh, just see this description: a girl with a simple, unspoiled nature. So one would expect that a girl with simple, unspoiled nature would prefer the countryside where people are simple and they live simple lives. But Lady Bracknell is a kind of she thinks otherwise. Now Jack says, "Well, I own a house in Belgrave Square, but it is let by the year to Lady Bloxham. Of course, I can get it back whenever I like, at 6 months' notice." So he has a house in Belgrave Square, but it is let to Lady Bloxham, but he will get it back at 6 months' notice. Lady Bloxham, I don't know her. So most probably Jack has made this up. There is no such person as uh, Lady Bloxham. Oh, she goes about very little. She is a lady considerably advanced in years. Ah, nowadays that is no guarantee of respectability of character. What number in Belgrave Square? So Lady Bracknell asks him about this house, and she doesn't know Lady Bloxham, and she says that, well, old age is not a guarantee of respectability. And she asks about the number of that house, 149. So it's 149 Belgrave Square. Shaking her head, the unfashionable side. I thought there was something, however, that could easily be altered. So she does not approve of that particular locality that is unfashionable, but it can be altered. So it can be changed. Do you mean the fashion or the site? Sternly, both if necessary, I presume. What are your politics? Now she wants to know about his political inclinations. Well, I am afraid I really have none. I am a liberal unionist. So, a liberal unionist, uh, obviously, Jack is uh, saying this. Actually, the liberal unionists were members of uh, Gladstone's Liberal Party, and in the year 1886, they voted against the bill for home rule in Ireland. Uh, but obviously, Jack uses this and says he is a liberal unionist. Oh, they count as Tories. They dine with us, or come in the evening at any rate. Now to minor matters. Are your parents living? So now to family matters, which to Lady Bracknell, uh, not of very great importance. I have lost both my parents. To lose one's parent, Mr. Worthing, may be regarded as a misfortune. To lose both looks like carelessness. So you have lost both your parents. So that seems that you are most careless. You have been most careless. Who was your father? He was evidently a man of some wealth. Was he born in what the radical papers call the purple of commerce, or did he rise from the ranks of the aristocracy? So now that she has heard about the properties of Jack, that he has a country house, he has a uh, house in the city also, and he earns quite a lot of money as an income, considerable income. So she is interested to know about his father. She guesses that he must have been a rich man. So was he born in the business or trading community, as the radical papers call it, or he came from an aristocratic family? Now, Jack says, I am afraid I really don't know. The fact is, Lady Bracknell, I said I had lost my parents. It would be nearer the truth to say that my parents seem to have lost me. I don't actually know who I am by birth. I was, I was found. So he has to say the truth now because he was actually left, he was a foundling. So naturally, he does not know anything about his parents. And he has to say this to Lady Bracknell. Found? So she is really, uh, you can understand the shock that she gets. The late Mr. Thomas Cardew, an old gentleman of a very charitable and kindly disposition, found me and gave me the name of Worthing, because he happened to have a first-class ticket for Worthing in his pocket at the time. Worthing is a place in Sussex. It is a seaside resort. So how he has come to be called, come to obtained this surname Worthing. So Mr. Thomas Cardew, who is now dead, he was a person of very charitable nature. And one day when he was going to Worthing by train, he had a first class ticket for Worthing in his pocket. He found this child, that is Jack. And he explains that Worthing is a place in Sussex, and obviously it is a seaside resort. So you can say here that obviously this a kind of a revelation, it is a kind of a revelation for Lady Bracknell. Where did the charitable gentleman who had a first class ticket for this seaside resort find you? Gravely, in a handbag. A handbag. So this Cardew, Mr. Thomas Cardew, he found Jack, that is the infant Jack, in a handbag. Very seriously, yes, Lady Bracknell, I was in a handbag, a somewhat large black leather handbag with handles to it, an ordinary handbag, in fact. So that was where he had been left uh, by some people. In what locality did this Mr. James or Thomas Cardew come across this ordinary handbag? So Lady Bracknell is very curious. Obviously, she wants to know the place. In the cloakroom at Victoria Station. It was given to him in mistake for his own. So there was a mistake. This black handbag, actually Mr. Cardew was carrying another black handbag. But when he had kept this in the cloakroom at Victoria Station, and when he wanted his own handbag, the person in charge who was looking after these, bags and all those things, he he made a mistake and he gave this wrong handbag to Mr. Cardew, where inside that handbag Jack was there. The cloakroom at Victoria Station. Yes, the Brighton line. So Jack now reveals how he was found by Mr. Thomas Cardew. So obviously the location is revealed. The line is immaterial, Mr. Worthing. I confess I feel somewhat bewildered by what you have just told me. To be born, or at any rate bred, in a handbag, whether it had handles or not, seems to me to display a contempt for the ordinary decencies of family life that reminds one of the worst excesses of the French Revolution. So, uh, Lady Bracknell is extremely dissatisfied. She says that the French Revolution, that obviously you know that it broke out in 1789 in France, and there was a lot of violence, bloodshed, people were killed, and it was a time of anarchy and disorder. So, Lady Bracknell, she somewhat exaggerates this incident and compares Jack's being found in a handbag to the worst excesses of the French Revolution. So, that is highly irregular. A child being uh, born or found in a handbag. And I presume you know what that unfortunate movement led to. As for the particular locality in which the handbag was found, a cloakroom at a railway station might serve to conceal a social indiscretion, has probably indeed been used for that purpose before now, but it could hardly be regarded as an assured basis for a recognized position in good society. So Lady Bracknell is saying that a social indiscretion means a kind of a, uh, she tries to imply that Jack is the outcome or the product of an illegitimate, illicit relationship. So that his mother uh, uh, sort of wanted to get rid of him by putting him into that handbag and leaving it in the cloakroom, so that he is an illegitimate child. She says this to Jack. May I ask you, Jack now asks her, what you'd advise me to do? I need hardly say I would do anything in the world to ensure Gwendolyn's happiness. So when she says all these things to Jack, he is kind of confused, and he says that he is genuinely interested in, obviously, uh, kind of making Gwendolyn happy. I would strongly advise you, Mr. Worthing, to try and acquire some relations as soon as possible, and to make a definite effort to produce at any rate one parent of either sex before the season is quite over. So, Lady Bracknell does not approve of Jack's having no parent whatsoever, that both his parents have died, as he says. So she advises him to acquire one parent, at least a father or a mother, and to make a definite effort to do that. Otherwise, he would be regarded as an illegitimate child. Well, I don't see how I could possibly manage to do that. So Jack is bewildered, obviously doesn't know what to do. I can produce the handbag at any moment. It is in my dressing room at home. I really think that should satisfy you, Lady Bracknell. So Jack says that I can produce that handbag. It's there in my home. But producing a parent, either a mother or a father, after all these years, that is really something that I would not be able to do. Me, sir, what has it to do with me? You can hardly imagine that I and Lord Bracknell would dream of allowing our only daughter, a girl brought up with the utmost care, to marry into a cloakroom and form an alliance with a parcel. Good morning, Mr. Worthing. Lady Bracknell sweeps out in majestic indignation. So There ends the interview, and Lady Bracknell plainly tells him that she is not, no more, no, she doesn't want to talk with him any further, and she is not going to, she and her husband, Lord Bracknell, they would not allow their daughter, their only daughter, to marry someone who was found in a cloakroom. So there ends this interview. Good morning. So Jack also says good morning. Algernon from the other room strikes up the wedding march. Jack looks perfectly furious and goes to the door. For goodness' sake, don't play that ghastly tune, Algie. How idiotic you are. So uh, Algernon is playing on the piano, and the wedding march, actually this is a piece of music uh, by a composer called Mendelssohn's Wedding March, and this is a music to A Midsummer Night's Dream, and this music was played, generally played during uh, weddings. So obviously Jack is not in a mood to listen to such music at this time. The music stops and Algernon enters cheerily, so he's in a very happy mood. Didn't it go off all right, old boy? You don't mean to say Gwendolen refused you? I know it is a way she has. She is always refusing people. I think it is most ill-natured of her. So he thinks that Gwendolen has refused to marry Jack. Oh, Gwendolen is as right as a trivet. As far as she is concerned, we are engaged. Her mother is perfectly unbearable. Never met such a gorgon. So obviously, here Jack says that Gwendolen is quite all right. We are, as far as she is concerned, we are engaged, but her mother is a perfect gorgon. Now, the gorgons were actually mythological creatures. They were three sisters. Of these three, two were immortal, and the third one, who was called Medusa, was mortal. And there is a story in Greek mythology. According to this story in Greek mythology, uh, these gorgons, their hair were entwined with serpents, and their hands were of brass, and their bodies were covered with scales, and anyone who looked at them, looked at their eyes, they were turned to stone. So obviously Jack is exaggerating by comparing Lady Bracknell to one of the gorgons whose stare would turn anyone into stone. I don't really know what a gorgon is like, but I'm quite sure that Lady Bracknell is one. So he doesn't know actually what a gorgon is. He's not so well read in Greek mythology, but he has heard this name somewhere, and he readily applies this. He assumes that a gorgon is a very frightful and detestable creature. In any case, she is a monster without being a myth, which is rather unfair. So she is a monster, and obviously uh, she is not even a mythical creature. I beg your pardon, Algie. I suppose I shouldn't talk about your own aunt in that way before you. So now he suddenly realizes that Lady Bracknell is Algernon's aunt, and he should not say such things before him about her. My dear boy, I love hearing my relations abused. So Algernon is also enjoying this. So he's enjoying Jack's indignant, talk. It is the only thing that makes me put up with them at all. So to tolerate them is a very hard thing to do. So when he hears that someone is criticizing them, then only he actually feels that he will be able to tolerate their society. Uh, so it gives him strength to tolerate them. Relations are simply a tedious pack of people who haven't got the remotest knowledge of how to live, nor the smallest instinct about when to die. So again, he is being kind of light-hearted way. He's saying that relations actually they are totally ignorant of the fact how to live and when to die, so that they might leave, large inheritances to him. Oh, that is nonsense. It isn't. Well, I won't argue about the matter. You always want to argue about things. That is exactly what things were originally made for, to be argued. So he says that one should always argue about things. Upon my word, if I thought that, I'd shoot myself. So now Jack says, well, all the time arguments are not good. Then a pause, they pause for some time. You don't think there is any chance of Gwendolyn becoming like her mother in about 150 years, do you, Algie? So now feels a kind of a doubt in his mind. Uh, because that would be really dreadful. All women become like their mothers. That is their tragedy. No man does. That's his. So Algernon very wisely says that women's tragedy is that they become like their mothers, but men, they do not resemble their mothers. So that's their tragedy. Is that clever? It is perfectly phrased and quite as true as any observation in civilized life should be. So, is that a clever statement? Just a clever statement you are making? Jack asks him. So Algernon, who is in the habit of making such witty statements, just like Oscar Wilde himself used to do, he says that it is perfectly phrased. Well, my remark is perfectly worded, and there is no lie in what I have just said. Uh, I am sick to death of cleverness. Everybody is clever nowadays. You can't go anywhere without meeting clever people. The thing has become an absolute public nuisance. I wish to goodness we had a few fools left. So everyone is so clever, they're saying such clever things. So wherever you go, there are witty and clever people, they follow you. And that makes kind of they try to make an impression on you. So it becomes an absolute public nuisance. So Jack is saying, I would like to meet some foolish people, not all clever people. We have. I should extremely like to meet them. What do they talk about? So what are the two fools talking about? The fools. Oh, about the clever people, of course. What fools. So obviously they're just having a conversation, funny conversation. By the way, did you tell Gwendolyn the truth about your being Ernest in town and Jack in the country? So now Algernon wants to know this. Jack, in a very patronizing manner, my dear fellow, the truth isn't quite the sort of thing one tells to a nice, sweet, refined girl. What extraordinary ideas you have about the way to behave to a woman. So Jack is not at all, he's not going to agree with this, that he should reveal his secret to his fiancée. So he says, no, obviously this is not the way one should tell the truth to a sweet and refined girl like Gwendolyn. in a patronizing manner, meaning as if he is addressing someone who is inferior to him. He is trying to explain differentially to Algernon. Now, Algernon says the only way to behave to a woman is to make love to her if she is pretty, and to someone else if she is plain. So, Algernon has his own theories about how to behave towards women. That one should make love to her if she is beautiful, and make love to some other woman in case she is not uh, beautiful enough. Oh, that is nonsense. What about your brother? What about the profligate Ernest? So, profligate Ernest, obviously, you know, the profligate means someone who is very lavish in his expenses. Oh, before the end of the week, I shall have got rid of him. I'll say he died in Paris of apoplexy. Lots of people die of apoplexy quite suddenly, don't they? So now Jack is planning to get rid of his uh, brother Ernest, or your. So when Algernon asks him that, he says that he will kill his brother. So his imaginary brother, that is, he would say that he has died of apoplexy. Now, apoplexy is brain hemorrhage, and it leads to a loss of power to feel or think. So it's quite a serious, illness which leads to death. Yes, but it's hereditary, my dear fellow. It's a sort of thing that runs in families. You had much better say a severe chill. So that would be more, appropriate. You are sure a severe chill isn't hereditary or anything of that kind? Of course it isn't. So they are discussing what to say about this imaginary Ernest's death, the cause of this death. Very well then, my poor brother Ernest to carried off suddenly in Paris by a severe chill that gets rid of him. So he says, well, my poor brother Ernest, uh, he is going to be, uh, he is going to die, and by a severe chill. So that would be the end of him. But I thought you said that Miss Cardew was little too much interested in your poor brother Ernest. Won't she feel his loss a good deal? Oh, that is all right. Cecily is not a silly romantic girl, I am glad to say. She has got a capital appetite, goes long walks, and pays no attention at all to her lessons. So now, Cecily Cardew, uh, who was the ward of, Jack, Jack's, protege, and she was interested in this Ernest, but Jack says that even if he dies, she would not take it to heart because she is not a silly romantic girl. Uh, I would rather like to see Cecily. I will take very good care. I will take very good care you never do. She is excessively pretty, and she is only just 18. So Jack doesn't want Algernon to meet Cecily. So he says that she is only 18. That is, she has reached the marriageable age at which uh, girls come out in public life or in society. They used to come out in society during those times. Have you told Gwendolen yet that you have an excessively pretty ward who is only just 18? Oh, one doesn't blurt these things out to people. Cecily and Gwendolen are perfectly certain to be extremely great friends. I'll bet you anything you like that half an hour after they have met, they will be calling each other sister. So Jack is quite sure about this, that they will get on very well together. Women only do that when they have called each other a lot of things, a lot of other things first. So Algernon says sarcastically that, well, women address each other as sister only after they have abused each other a lot. They have called each other names. Now, my dear boy, if we want to get a good table at Willis's, we really must go and dress. Do you know it is nearly 7? So they have to go to this restaurant. Well, no, irritably, Jack becomes a bit irritable. Oh, it always is nearly 7. Well, I'm hungry. I never knew you when you weren't. So you are always hungry. What shall we do after dinner? Go to a theater? Oh no, I loathe listening. So he says that no, I don't want to go to a theater. That is, he doesn't want to listen to the dialogues of the actors. Well, let us go to the club. So uh, they have to go and dress. That is, uh, they have to wear the evening dress. So they actually would they are discussing where to go after dinner. Now the club, now during those times, the best known clubs in London were to be found in St James's and in Pall Mall, Pallmall. So in these areas. Oh no, I hate talking. So Jack doesn't want to go to a theater. He doesn't want to go to a club because he doesn't want to listen to the dialogues of the actors. He doesn't want to hear the people talking and in the club. Well, we might trot round to the Empire at 10. So Algernon is suggesting that they should go to the Empire Theatre in Leicester Square. So it was a well-known music hall in London, and it also was famous for the spectacular ballets that were shown there. So Algernon is suggesting that they should go to the Empire Theatre. Oh no, I can't bear looking at things. It is so silly. So Jack is discarding all the alternatives. Well, what shall we do? So Algernon doesn't know what to say now. Nothing. So Jack doesn't want to do anything at all. It is awfully hard work doing nothing. However, I don't mind hard work where there is no definite object of any kind. So Algernon is saying that, well, if I don't have any particular object in my mind, I have to do this, do that. Hard work, well, I do not object to that. Enter Lane. So the butler comes in. Miss Fairfax. Enter Gwendolen. Lane goes out. Gwendolen, upon my word. Algy, kindly turn your back. I have something very particular to say to Mr. Worthing. So Gwendolen doesn't want Algernon to be present. Really, Gwendolen, I don't think I can allow this at all. Gwendolen says, Algy, you always adopt a strictly immoral attitude towards life. You are not quite old enough to do that. Algernon retires to the fireplace. So, actually, she should have said that you adopt a strictly moral attitude towards life, but instead, she ironically says, and in a very funny way, you are adopting an immoral attitude. My own darling, Ernest, we may never be married. From the expression on Mamma's face, I fear we never shall. Few parents nowadays pay any regard to what their children say to them. The old-fashioned respect for the young is fast dying out. whatever influence I ever had over Mama, I lost at the age of 3. So, as you can see here, Gwendolyn is very funny in her speech, and she says that, well, you can never be married because Mama, when she came, she was not very happy with your interview. And uh, just look at this funny sentence, that the old-fashioned respect for the young. So it's all topsy-turvy. We should say that the old-fashioned respect for the old people. So she is inverting that or subverting that. So young people should be respected by the elderly for doing what they are doing. So, and she says that she doesn't have any influence over her mother now that she has grown up. So she lost her influence over her mother at the age of 3, so when she was a baby. But although she may prevent us from becoming man and wife, and I may marry someone else and marry often, nothing that she can possibly do can alter my eternal devotion to you. So obviously, she has come to say this, that even if I do not marry you, and I will get married to someone else and marry several times in my life, but nothing will change my everlasting devotion to you. Dear Gwendolyn, so Jack is very impressed by this speech. The story of your romantic origin, as related to me by Mama with unpleasing comments, has naturally stirred the deeper fibers of my nature. So the story of his being found in that cloakroom, in that handbag, black handbag. So that was something which appealed to Gwendolyn. It sounded very romantic. Your Christian name has an irresistible fascination. So obviously, he is known as Ernest. The simplicity of your character makes you exquisitely incomprehensible to me. So your simplicity. So just look at the speech. So one would think that if a person is simple, then he or she would be easy to understand. But since Jack is simple, Gwendolyn finds him to be kind of difficult to uh, understand or know. So she's saying that your romantic, the story of your birth or being found in that strange handbag has really stirred me. It has thrilled me. And your Christian name has a great attraction for me. It is simply irresistible. Your character is extremely simple, and that is why I cannot understand you enough. Uh, your town address at the Albany I have. What is your address in the country? So she is asking about his address. The Manor House, Woolton, Hertfordshire. So Manor House, Woolton, Hertfordshire. It is a house that is has a land attached to a nobleman. So uh, he has a considerable, you know, uh, property in the countryside as well. Algernon, who has been carefully listening, smiles to himself and writes the address on his shirt cuff, then picks up the railway guide. You would remember that in the beginning of this play, Algernon was asking for the address from Jack because he wanted to go and see Cecily. But Jack had not given him the address, but now Algernon has got the address because Jack has revealed it to Gwendolyn, and Algernon was nearby, and he uh, wrote down the address and picked up the railway guide. That is, he wanted to see what were the trains that were available. There is a good postal service, I suppose. It may be necessary to do something desperate. That, of course, will require serious consideration. I will communicate with you daily. So she proposes, or she intends to write letters so to him every day. My own one. So Jack is most thrilled. How long do you remain in town? Till Monday. Good, Algie, you may turn round now. Thanks, I've turned round already. So Algernon actually was listening to the conversation. You may also ring the bell. You will let me see you to your carriage, my own darling? Certainly. To Lane, who now enters. I will see Miss Fairfax out. Yes, sir. Jack and Gwendolen go off. Lane presents several letters on a salver to Algernon. It is to be surmised that they are bills, as Algernon, after looking at the envelopes, tears them up. So he doesn't want to pay the money. Bring a glass of sherry, Lane. So he wants to drink. Yes, sir. Tomorrow, Lane, I am going bunburying. Yes, sir. So Len most probably knows what bunburying is. I shall probably not be back till Monday. You can put up my dress clothes, my smoking jacket, and all the Bunbury suits. Yes, sir, handling sherry. So uh, Lane knows what to do when his master goes to the countryside. I hope tomorrow will be a fine day, Lane. It never is, sir. Len, you are a perfect pessimist. So he was hoping that he would have good weather because he was going to go to the countryside. I do my best to give satisfaction, sir. So Len says that, well, I try to uh, say whatever is pleasing for you. Enter Jack. Len goes off. There's a sensible, intellectual girl. The only girl I ever cared for in my life. Algernon is laughing immoderately. What on earth are you so amused at? So, obviously, Jack does not know that Algernon has picked up that dress. Oh, I am a little anxious about poor Bunbury, that is all. If you don't take care, your friend Bunbury will get you into a serious scrape someday. So he says that, well, if you do not take care of your Bunbury friend, then you will be in trouble one day. I love scrapes. They are the only things that are never serious. Oh, that's nonsense, Algie. You never talk anything but nonsense. Nobody ever does. So Algernon doesn't pay any uh, serious attention to this accusation. Jack looks indignantly at him and leaves the room. Algernon lights a cigarette. He reads his shirt cuff and smiles. Act drops. So here, Act 1 comes to an end. So as you can see, this act comes to an end with this, the fact that this interview between Lady Bracknell and Algernon, it did not go well for uh, Lady Bracknell and Jack, that is. So it did not go well for him, and therefore, obviously, Jack is a bit. He doesn't know what to do, uh, and Gwendolen comes in and tells him about these things, that it is uh, difficult for them to get married, and how during this conversation Algernon manages to obtain or get this address because he is interested to visit Cecily Cardew, who is being taken care of by Jack. So now in our next class we will start with the second act.